Alright y'all, we got the water pump in place. Got her all torqued down. I put a little bit of silicone in between this little section here because it used to be a dust seal and actually travels along the back of this heel here. To here I put a little bit of the excess I had just in that cavity. I'll probably plug that a little bit more before I seal everything up. It's just allowing for the inside the timing covers to remain free of dust, etc., water, whatever. And then we got the cam sensor installed. Got our covers installed. I put a little silicone in the back of this as well. There's a little whisper thin gasket that came off of it. Then of course we've got this other cover down here, and the next thing we're going to do is torque down our sprocket bolts. They are supposed to get torqued down to 58 foot-pounds on this engine. Turbocharged, it is different. And what I'll do is I'm going to get the sprockets cleaned up, and then it does not call for any sort of Loctite or anything like that, so I'm not going to put anything on there. You know, definitely want to check that out, but I'll definitely clean these up and then get those installed. And I'll see if I'm adventurous enough to actually hang the belt tonight. I may or may not do that, but after that's done, then we clean up the cover, put it on, install the crank pulley. I've got my last remaining parts list. I need to get a new terminal. I'm waiting to put the thermostat on because I may or may not get new hoses for the section that I pointed out around the thermostat yesterday. But this is my list. We got the dad dropped off the battery, so we got that going on. Of course, our parts supply is dwindling, and then we've got some nice winter tires that the Neff can run through the summer. Even though they're so soft, they're going to get burned up, but kind of just is what it is. And man, this thing's ready to go, guys. So I'm gonna keep on going. Whew, just about there, guys. Let's get her done. All right, y'all, we got our sprockets torqued. This one is super easy. I use my spanner wrench. Oh, there it is. I use this thing to hold this side sprocket. And although not ideal, I use this for the passenger side. You just want to get yourself a soft strap wrench. It's not going to dig into the plastic. Whoops. Alright, cool. So, I had to re-look at what all the order was. Basically, this is kind of how it's set up. The orange one is kind of the lower bottom. This one is kind of up top, or, you know, basically exactly how you see them. The water pump would be like right here. But I have a video which shows everything. But again, if you're looking at this, G1 is the orange one. G3 is the black one. And then G2 is the one with gears on it. So it's kind of confusing because they don't really. Both instructions, this book and this, don't really clearly tell you which one's which. So I had to look at the video when I took it off. I'll probably triple check before I go back together. But basically gonna install the tensioner, install this one. I'm gonna reread everything, but I think after you hang the belt, then you install either or of these. But we're gonna get it figured out, and then I'll report back. So let's get her done and then wrap up for the night. Alright y'all, I got everything staged up. You can take a look at the pulleys, the orange one down there, the gray one, and the new idler sprocket, water pump. One discrepancy that I'm seeing is that this yellow dotted line veers off a little bit. You can see that the red lines up with the white there, but the dotted line kind of goes off. But we're good to go. We got our driver's side here. We've got our passenger side. Definitely want to use some clips like this to make life easier. And then we're going to go ahead and install our tensioner. And then all of our slack is on this end. That's where you want it. That way the tensioner can do its job. And then we're going to get all the clips off. I'm going to rotate the engine all the way 360 degrees. Probably do that twice and just make sure that all the timing marks line up after we come back around. And if they don't, we'll have to do it all over again, which is fine. So hopefully we're good, and following my timing belt instructions. Book is okay. What I ended up doing is installing all 3 idler pulleys around the belt, and then last but not least the tensioner, which is classic. The instructions are a little bit confusing, but let's get her together. And again, at the end of the day, once everything's installed, you just want to make sure that the timing marks all line up, because this is an interference engine, and if you have it wrong, you could be running a piston up into one of your valves, so be careful. So just about done for the night. We're going to get this tensioner installed and get this thing in the books here. Alright y'all, I went ahead and just double checked everything. I originally had the lines all lined up, and they lined up perfectly, but it actually didn't line up with the actual marks, which makes sense because I think the gear ratio, the teeth on each sprocket, blah blah blah. But you can see that we are just, depending on how we're looking at it there, looking good there. Here's our mark down here. Obviously it's hard to see, guys. That mark there, looking good. I know it's kind of off looking, but you can see there. And then we got our mark here. And again, you'll be able to use your best judgment when you can look at it yourself, but everything's looking good. I'm confident that our timing marks are aligned. So just want to double, triple check that sort of stuff, and then we're going to go ahead and move on and get the timing covers installed, and then we'll be on to the intake, which I do not think I'll do tonight, but I'll probably clean up the timing covers and then possibly install them. Of course, I gotta get the crank pulley back off, and we'll get her done. Alright y'all, I got the front covers all cleaned up. I did end up trimming this portion right here, the part that was kind of pooched out because of the oil. This fit up pretty decently, so right around here is where it sort of sagged. So I'm gonna get some silicone on that and just reinforce that. We're gonna do that tomorrow. Get the crank or the harmonic balancer installed, get our intake installed, and just avalanche this thing back together. Here's our parts, and we're gonna get this thing done, guys. Over and out. Shout out to them sheep horns right there. Alright y'all, we're down below here, getting the new thermostat put in. Just got all that cleaned up. I'm going to replace this elbow here. Got the new one, it's a part from Subaru. I'll see if I have the part number here in a little bit later. But what I'm going to do is just put a teeny bit of silicone spray on the tube inlets here, wherever it is. There it is. That way you can get it on. It's a pretty tight fit. and then get that on with some new hose clamps. I was going to replace these. They don't seem as bad. Obviously we'll watch them. If they decide to leak, we'll get them replaced. Probably try and find a way to replace them without completely oof, oh darn it. Yeah, that doesn't look very good. Yeah, this hose right here, shit. Just noticing how jacked up the back of this is. Golly. Look at that. How pooched out it is. So I'm probably gonna need to get those. The parts guy at Subaru was not very helpful. I might just get some line for that one, but we shall see. If I needed to replace this, if I did it cold, theoretically, well, no, yeah, I'd have to drain the coolant. I'd probably just trying to find a way to drain the coolant. Really want to get this thing fired up soon. I don't know if I want to mess with this. But as you can see, guys, man, it feels weird though. It feels like something's in it. That is the weirdest feeling in the world. I bet you it is leaking, guys. I'm gonna have to replace that. Way too pooched out. This one looks decent. This one looks decent, but I'll probably get that one too. But at least this one is straight, so all I have to do is take it off and then find a section of hose with the right diameter. And that one will be pretty simple. So anyways, guys, we're still gonna keep going. We're gonna get this installed. Well, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, this one's not too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and install the thermostat, and then we'll figure out those hoses tomorrow or something. But look at that beautiful timing set, all locked and loaded. All right, guys, let's get this thing on there, and I'll go ahead and film once it's all together here. All right, y'all, we're back together with the timing cover and got the crank pulley torqued. Timing cover bolt should be torqued about 44 inch-pounds. Excuse me. Oil the face of the bolt, or the inside face that's going to rub on the pulley face. And the threads, get a little bit of oil on there. And I guess you're supposed to torque it to about 34 the first time, and then bring it to 134, making sure that when you torque it that far, it's turning at least like 65 to 75 degrees. Basically, if you get to here and it torques, you have an issue, you know, or if you get way down to here, I don't know what that would be. But anyway, so it's all torqued, we're looking good. Next thing we're gonna do is make sure these are all good to go. I do have some new hose clamps for these. They're knock sensor. And basically start kind of getting all of this, all the wiring and hoses kind of pulled back out, get the intake set on there. And I'm pretty sure all I'll have, I remember there's a lower bolt here, and then there's these, and there's a couple other things I need to hook up before I, you know, bolt the intake down. So you just got to kind of get everything, again, like I said earlier, one of the other videos, is you just want to, especially if it's been a while, you want to get everything kind of laid out and just make sure that you know, the wiring harness that isn't supposed to go, you know, underneath something and then you bolt something on. So pretty straightforward. I always recommend videoing or taking pictures of whatever you're working on. That way you can go back to it. But this is fairly simple. But mainly on that, some of that stuff, it's super complex. I've done jobs before where I get done, you know, installing the intake, whatever, and I go to hook up the wiring harness, and I totally forgot that it was supposed to go this way rather than that way or some crap, and I literally have to unbolt the, you know, whatever. So anyways, guys, we're gonna keep on going. I might set up the time lapse, but we're just pretty straightforward at this point. We're just trying to get everything done. So thanks for tuning in. Alright y'all, we got the intake torque down. This harness does go underneath the intake and then it runs over here. This one here, it goes to the power steering. This side one here runs over to do the AC and the alternator. And this one is the last one I was figuring out. This one is for the ignition, the coil pack, which is the next on my list to put in. Get the plugs and wires, or the wires. And then of course the air conditioner and alternator. The belts installed. And then we'll get the radiator back installed. So the battery in there, and go ahead and go for a test start. Once I know it's running and runs smooth, I will basically, obviously I gotta put oil in it, all that stuff. And then I am going to, let me get some of this going. This is our oil. We're gonna run the conventional oil in there just to get everything flushed, and then I will do a transmission service. I'm just gonna drop the pan, change the mesh filter, change the spin-on filter, seal up the gasket, and then last but not least, once I get everything buttoned up, obviously get fresh synthetic oil in there. It's gonna be the final oil going in. Obviously get coolant in there and topped off. I will be changing the fuel filter, of course. Last but not least, of course, once I get the tires bolted on, I just gotta diagnose the locks. The locks not working. Electronic locks. Could be a relay, could be something. But basically finished for the night. And sorry I haven't been doing a great job of filming everything I do. Any questions at all, feel free to let me know. Intake bolts get torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. And I got my my heater, the throttle body heater. Oh, I don't like, maybe a little bit over tightened, but I didn't want to go for the spring clamps on there, but they probably would have done just fine. But there it is, guys. We're slowly getting her done. Thanks for tuning in. We're just about getting this project wrapped up. Over and out.